So let's get into some details about designing rubrics. So we have a document on our website. We'll share the link to that. But it gets a sort of an eight step process for developing rubrics. So the beginning area for developing a rubric is reviewing your student learning outcomes. So rubrics need to be developed based on your student learning outcomes. So to start the design process, a key step is to review the intended student learning outcomes through the program. From there, you can identify assignments. Once you've mapped the outcomes through the courses, exams, or other activities within the program, you can ask yourself what specific assignments or other means of demonstrating skills can serve as a source of student work that could be assessed in relation to learning outcome. Where in the program, for example, the students have opportunities to demonstrate they have achieved each of the student learning outcomes. Capstone courses or senior upper level courses, research and internship experiences, comprehensive exams, and so on. So where are you going to look for the assignments to score? Establishing criteria, we've talked about this already, but once you identify specific assignments, we can then establish a criteria in a rubric to use. So if we want to use a checklist, rating or analytic format, that might be driven by the criteria and the assignment that you've identified. But the big question here is, what are the performance dimensions that capture evidence of student learning? Fourth step is identifying the scale. In addition to the criteria, the scale needs to be identified. And as we discussed earlier, different types of rubrics involve different types of scales and can provide different levels of information. And then it's determining a range and target. And a little bit later, we'll look at how one department had approached this issue. But once you have the criteria and the scale, we then determine the range and target to complete that initial rubric design. So you can think about the target as being the average performance, or perhaps a percentage of students who achieve a certain score that the program aspires to, or maybe considers to be a minimum threshold for success in achieving a learning outcome. As a programmer, you can compare aggregated rubric scores with your set performance target. Here's an example. So based on your rubric, your program may set the target for, say, 90% of students to meet milestones, maybe level 2, on all criteria by their third year, by their junior year. And the specific course assignment rubric results will allow the program to monitor whether students have met that performance target or whether additional support is needed to get students there. The sixth step is conducting a pilot. So you can pilot your rubric through discussions with colleagues, having them review it, testing the rubrics with student work samples to see how well the rubrics measure student work. Sometimes you hear the term norming. People engage in norming sessions where several raters get together, evaluate student samples and see whether their scores are similar. But those are different ways of approaching piloting and confirming the validity of a rubric. And this could be especially relevant if your assessment report is going to include courses of multiple sections, or whether you're pulling samples of student work from multiple sessions with different instructors. So this could be an important point. A sampling plan is part of this process. You want to identify where you're getting your samples from. For assessment reports, you can sample at a course level. In fact, you even sample one course for this purpose, or you may sample at a student level. We'll go into some more details about that. And finally, aggregating the scores. For your assessment reports, you can aggregate all these scores across all of your students or all your samples for your report. And that again could be, and that is at the program level, but it's made up of all the scores you've collected across the different samples that you've used.